Actions speak louder than words. How many times have you heard that, right? It's one of those simple truths that makes all the difference. We spend so much time talking about what we want to do, what we're going to do, or what we plan to do. But here's the reality. No one's really paying attention to what we say. They're paying attention to what we actually do. If you want to get ahead in life, you don't need to constantly explain yourself or share every little detail of your plan. What matters is the work you put in. It's the results that will show the world who you really are and what you're capable of. In today's video, we're going to explore why you should stop talking about what you do and start letting your actions do the talking for you. Trust me, this shift in mindset will change the way you approach your goals, and it'll take you much further than words ever could. Stay with me, you won't want to miss this. Number 1, success begins in silence. When you talk too much about your goals, you run into 2 problems. First, you waste energy explaining yourself. Second, you give people a chance to doubt you, question you, or even discourage you. And let me tell you, not everyone is rooting for you. You know what happens when you start sharing your plans with the wrong people? They say things like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" or "That sounds hard." And sometimes it's enough to make you second guess yourself. Their doubts become your doubts. Their fears creep into your mind. But when you stay quiet, you avoid all of that. You keep your focus where it belongs, on the work. You don't waste time explaining. You don't look for approval or permission. You just do what needs to be done. Here's what most people don't realize. Talking about your goals can feel good, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Saying, "I'm going to start a business," doesn't mean you've started it. Telling people, "I'm going to lose weight," doesn't burn a single calorie. Action is what moves the needle. Not talking, not planning, not hoping. Action. And you know what else happens when you talk too much about your plans? You create pressure. Now every time you see those people, they'll ask, "How's it going? Did you start yet? Are you making progress?" And suddenly it feels like you're performing for an audience. That kind of pressure can weigh you down. But when you keep your goals to yourself, you stay in control. You set your own pace. You're not worried about what other people think. You're free to make mistakes, learn and grow without feeling like everyone's watching. There's also something powerful about surprising people with your success. Imagine working quietly, staying focused, and then one day people see what you've accomplished. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify your decisions. Your results speak for you. Think about it this way. A tree doesn't grow by shouting, "Look at me, I'm about to grow tall." No, it starts with roots. It grows quietly beneath the surface, where no one can see. And one day it breaks through the ground, tall and strong, ready for the world to notice. Your goals are just like that. They need time to develop. They need time to grow strong. If you expose them too early, they're vulnerable. But if you protect them, nurture them, and give them time, they'll grow into something unshakable. So what does this look like in everyday life? It means resisting the urge to announce your plans every time you feel excited. It means focusing on the work instead of the talk. It means letting go of the need for instant recognition or praise. And it means being selective about who you share your dreams with. Not everyone deserves to know what you're working on. Share with people who truly support you, people who lift you up, not people who bring you down or question your ability. But even then, most of the time, it's best to keep things to yourself. Protect your goals. Hold them close. Let them grow in the quiet, away from the noise and distractions of the world. Because when you do that, something amazing happens. You build momentum. You start to see progress. And that progress builds your confidence. It reminds you, "I'm capable. I'm making it happen." And when you finally reach your goal, it's so much more satisfying. Not because you proved something to others, but because you proved something to yourself. The truth is, success doesn't need attention. It doesn't need big announcements or public approval. It just needs consistent effort, day after day, step by step. So stop talking about what you're going to do. Stop looking for validation. Instead, focus on doing the work. Start small. Stay consistent. Build in silence. And when you're ready, let your success do the talking. Because when you let your results speak for you, there's no need for explanations. The world will see it, and you'll know you did it the right way. Number 2, don't waste energy explaining. The truth is, your dreams are your dreams. They're not for everyone to understand. They're not up for debate. You don't need to explain why you're pursuing them. You don't need to justify your choices. All you need to do is focus on taking the next step. When you spend time explaining yourself, you give other people the power to influence your mindset. You open the door for their opinions, their doubts, and even their criticism. And let me tell you, some people love to criticize. They'll tell you why your idea won't work, why it's too hard, or why you're not ready. And even if you're confident, even if you believe in yourself, hearing those words can shake you. They can plant seeds of doubt where there were none before. You see, energy is a precious resource. You only have so much of it each day. And if you waste it explaining yourself to people who don't understand, or worse, don't care, you'll have less energy for the things that truly matter, like taking action, solving problems, and staying consistent. So here's what I want you to remember. Don't waste your energy explaining. Use that energy to execute. Use it to build, to learn, to grow. Because at the end of the day, your actions will speak louder than any explanation ever could. Think about the people you admire, those who've achieved great things, those who inspire you. Did they spend their time justifying their choices to everyone who questioned them? No, they stayed focused on their work. They let their results do the talking. And when the results came, they didn't need to explain anything. Their success spoke for itself. Now, I'm not saying you should never share your goals or your vision with others, but you need to be selective. Share with people who support you, people who understand your journey and want to see you succeed. Don't waste time trying to convince skeptics or win over critics. That's not your job. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're planting a garden. You've got seeds, soil, and water, and you're ready to get to work. But instead of planting, you spend hours explaining to your neighbor why this garden is so important to you. You tell them all about the fruits and vegetables you'll grow, how good it'll feel to harvest them, and how proud you'll be when it's done. The neighbor listens, nods, and maybe even shares their opinion on how you should plant. But at the end of the day, you've spent so much time talking that you didn't even plant a single seed. Does that make sense? Explaining doesn't grow the garden. Planting does. Watering does. Tending to the soil does. The same goes for your goals. Don't spend your time talking about the work. Spend it doing the work. And here's another thing. Not everyone will see your vision, and that's okay. Some people can only believe what they can see. They won't believe in your goals until they see the results. And that's not your problem. It's not your responsibility to convince them. It's your responsibility to stay focused, keep working, and prove it through action. You might be thinking, but what if people misunderstand me? What if they think I'm making a mistake? Let me tell you something. People will always have opinions. No matter what you do, someone will think you're wrong. Someone will think you're not good enough. But you can't let that stop you. Their opinions don't define you. Your actions do. Your results do. The more time you spend explaining yourself, the more time you lose. Time you could have spent learning a new skill, making progress on a project, or taking care of your health. And here's the kicker. The people who truly matter, the ones who care about you and want to see you succeed, they don't need an explanation. They'll support you no matter what. They'll trust your process. So what should you do instead of explaining? Start showing. Start doing. Instead of saying, I'm going to start a business, start researching, planning, and taking steps. Instead of saying, I'm going to get in shape, start exercising and eating better. Let your actions make the statement. Let your progress tell the story. And when people see what you've accomplished, they'll understand. They'll see the work you've put in, the effort you've made, and the results you've achieved. And in that moment, you won't need to explain anything. Your success will say it all. Here's something to remember. Every minute you spend explaining is a minute you're not improving. It's a minute you're not moving forward. So the next time you feel the urge to explain, stop and ask yourself, is this helping me get closer to my goal? If the answer is no, then shift your focus back to the work. Because in the end, it's not about what you say. It's about what you do. It's about what you create, what you achieve, and how you grow. That's what people will remember. That's what will make the difference. So don't waste energy explaining. Save it for the work. Save it for the actions that will take you where you want to go. And when you get there, let your results do the talking. Number 3, focus on action, not announcements. When you announce your plans, you get a quick hit of satisfaction. People might cheer you on, give you a pat on the back, or say, that's great. You're so ambitious, and that feels good, doesn't it? But here's the problem. That satisfaction can trick you into thinking you've done something. You feel like you've made progress, when in reality you haven't moved an inch. Let me tell you, there's a huge difference between saying you're going to do something and actually doing it. Talking is easy. Acting takes effort. Announcements are just words, but actions are what create results. You see, every time you focus on announcing your plans instead of taking action, you're giving yourself a way out. You're putting energy into the talk, not the walk. And when the excitement of the announcement wears off, you're left with the hard work and no progress to show for it. That's why focusing on action is so important. Think about this. When you're truly committed to a goal, you don't need to announce it. You don't need to tell the world what you're going to do. You just get to work. You focus on the next step. And the step after that, you let your results speak for themselves. Because here's the truth. No one remembers what you said you were going to do. They remember what you did. They remember what you accomplished, what you created, and how you made it happen. Imagine this. Two people both say they're going to write a book. One spends months talking about it, sharing updates, and making promises. The other keeps quiet and writes every day. Who do you think finishes the book? The one who focused on action. It's the same with any goal. Whether you want to start a business, improve your health, or learn a new skill, the formula is the same: action over announcements. Stop telling people what you're going to do and just start doing it. Here's another reason why focusing on action matters. It builds momentum. When you take even a small step, you create progress. That progress motivates you to take another step, and then another. But if you're stuck in announcement mode, you never get that momentum. You're too busy talking to actually move forward. And let me tell you, momentum is powerful. It's what turns small efforts into big results. It's what helps you push through challenges, stay consistent, and keep going even when it's hard. But you can't build momentum by talking. You can only build it by doing. Now let's talk about another downside of announcements. They create unnecessary pressure. When you tell people your plans, you invite their opinions, their expectations, and their judgment. Suddenly you feel like you have to perform for an audience, and that pressure can make you hesitate. It can make you second-guess yourself. But when you focus on action and keep your plans to yourself, you free yourself from that pressure. You're not doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for you. You're free to take your time, make mistakes, and adjust your approach without feeling like everyone's watching. And here's the best part. When you focus on action, you get to surprise people. Instead of saying, "I'm going to do this," you get to say, "Look at what I've done." There's something powerful about letting your results do the talking. It's a quiet kind of confidence that doesn't need applause or validation. Think about how this works in everyday life. If you want to lose weight, don't tell everyone about your diet or your workout plan. Just start eating better and exercising. Let people notice the changes in you. If you want to start a business, don't go around telling everyone your grand vision. Start small. Build it step by step, and one day, they'll see what you've created. Focusing on action also keeps you grounded. When you're in announcement mode, it's easy to get caught up in the big picture, the end result. But when you're in action mode, you're focused on the next step. You're focused on what you can do today to move closer to your goal. And that's the key. Success isn't about big, flashy moves. It's about small, consistent actions. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and staying committed, even when it's hard. So here's my challenge to you. Stop announcing your plans. Stop looking for validation or approval. Instead, focus on the work. Focus on what you can do right now to move forward. And remember, it's not about how fast you move or how big your steps are. It's about staying consistent. It's about showing up for yourself day after day and doing the work, even when no one's watching. Because in the end, it's not the announcements that matter. It's the actions. It's the progress you make, the results you achieve, and the person you become along the way. So don't waste time talking about what you're going to do. Start doing it. Take the first step, then take the next one, and keep going until you've built something you're proud of. When you focus on action, not announcements, you free yourself to truly succeed. And when you succeed, you won't need to say a word. Your results will say it all. Number 4, prove yourself with actions. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'll prove them wrong," or "I'll show everyone what I can do"? It sounds good, doesn't it? But here's the thing. Proving yourself doesn't come from talking about it. It comes from showing up and putting in the work. Actions, not words, are what truly prove your worth. It's easy to get caught up in wanting to explain yourself to others. Maybe they've doubted you, underestimated you, or even criticized you, and naturally, you might feel the urge to defend yourself, to tell them why they're wrong. But let me ask you something. What's more powerful? Arguing with someone about what you're capable of, or quietly achieving something they never thought you could? When you focus on actions, you don't need to argue, you don't need to explain, you just do. And when the results start to show, the proof is undeniable. There's no debating it. Think about it. If someone says, "You'll never make it," and you spend hours telling them why they're wrong, what have you really accomplished? Nothing. But if you channel that energy into working toward your goals, you create something real. You create proof. Here's the truth. People might doubt your words, but they can't deny your results. Actions are solid. They're tangible. There's something people can see and feel. And when you let your actions do the talking, you don't just prove others wrong. You prove yourself right. But proving yourself with actions isn't just about showing others what you're capable of. It's about building confidence in yourself. Every step you take, every little win reinforces the belief that you can do it. And that's what really matters. It's not about their approval. It's about your growth. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone says, "You're not disciplined enough to stick to a workout routine." You could argue with them, explain why you're serious this time, and list all the reasons you're going to succeed. Or you could quietly start working out every day. You don't have to say a word. After a few weeks or months, they'll see the change. They'll notice your progress. And at that point, there's nothing left to say. The results speak for themselves. It's the same with any area of your life. Whether it's your career, your relationships, or your personal goals, talking about what you're going to do doesn't carry weight. What counts is doing it. Now I get it. Proving yourself with actions isn't always easy. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes consistency. But here's the good news. You don't have to prove yourself all at once. You don't have to accomplish everything overnight. All you need to do is take one step at a time. Every small action you take is like laying a brick. On its own, one brick might not look like much. But when you keep laying bricks, day after day, you build something incredible. You build something that no one can ignore. And here's another thing to keep in mind. When you focus on actions, you stay in control. You're not trying to convince anyone or win their approval. You're not reacting to their doubts or criticisms. You're simply doing what you need to do to move forward. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen someone try to prove themselves with words alone? They talk a big game, make promises, and try to impress everyone. But then when it's time to deliver, they fall short. Why? Because words don't build skills. Words don't create results. Actions do. That's why it's so important to stay focused on what you can control. Your effort, your discipline, your commitment. Those are the things that lead to real progress. And here's the beautiful part. When you focus on proving yourself with actions, you don't just prove something to others. You prove something to yourself. You prove that you're capable. You prove that you can handle challenges. You prove that you can keep going, even when it's hard. That's the kind of proof that lasts. It's not about temporary recognition or applause. It's about building a foundation of confidence and success that no one can take away from you. So how do you start proving yourself with actions? Simple. Start small. Pick one goal, one step, one action you can take today. It doesn't have to be big or flashy. It just has to move you forward. And then keep going. Stay consistent. Don't worry about how long it takes or who's noticing. Trust the process. Trust that every little step adds up. You'll have setbacks. You'll have days when it feels like you're not making progress. But don't let that stop you. Remember, proving yourself isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. Over time, your actions will create undeniable proof. People will see the changes in you. They'll see the results of your hard work. And at that point, you won't need to explain anything. But here's the most important thing. Proving yourself with actions isn't about them. It's about you. It's about becoming the person you know you can be. It's about building a life you're proud of. So stop talking about what you're going to do. Stop trying to convince people of your potential. Instead, start taking action. Start proving it. Step by step, day by day. Because when you focus on actions, not words, you don't just prove yourself. You create a life that speaks for itself. Number 5, avoid unnecessary pressure. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they have to prove something to the world right now. They feel like they're on stage and everyone is watching. They think, if I don't succeed quickly, people will think I'm a failure. And so they pile on the pressure, unrealistic deadlines, impossible standards, and this constant need to be perfect. But here's the truth. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Think about it. Who are you really trying to impress? Is it your friends, your family, your coworkers, or maybe even strangers online? And for what? Their approval, their applause? Let me tell you, chasing approval is a never-ending race. Even if you get it, it won't satisfy you because it's not coming from the right place. The only person you need to satisfy is yourself. Here's the thing about unnecessary pressure. It kills creativity, and it drains your energy. When you're constantly worried about what people think, or whether you're meeting their expectations, you can't focus on what really matters. Taking action, learning, and growing. Pressure turns your attention outward when it should be inward. You see this happen all the time with people chasing success. They announce their big goals to the world, thinking it'll hold them accountable. But what it really does is add a layer of pressure they didn't need. Now they're not just working on their goal, they're performing for an audience. And that audience doesn't forget. If you stumble, they'll remind you. If you're slow, they'll comment on it. That kind of pressure can paralyze you. The best way to avoid unnecessary pressure is to stop looking for external validation. You don't need to announce your plans or broadcast your progress. Just get to work. Keep it simple. Keep it private if you can. Focus on the process, not the perception. Here's something else to think about. A lot of the pressure we feel comes from comparing ourselves to others. We see someone achieving success, and we think, why am I not there yet? What am I doing wrong? But here's what you need to remember. Everyone's journey is different. They might be on chapter 20 of their story while you're just starting chapter 1. It's not fair to compare. And honestly, it's not productive either. When you focus too much on what others are doing, you lose sight of your own path. You start setting goals that aren't even yours. You start chasing things because you think you should, not because you truly want to. And that's a surefire way to burn out. So how do you avoid unnecessary pressure? Start by setting goals that are meaningful to you, not to anyone else. Ask yourself, what do I really want? What matters to me? Forget about what other people are doing or what they expect from you. Focus on what feels right for you. Next, give yourself permission to go at your own pace. There's no deadline for success. It doesn't matter if it takes you 6 months or 6 years to reach your goal. What matters is that you're moving forward. Progress is progress, no matter how small. And let's talk about failure for a moment. A lot of pressure comes from the fear of failing. People are so afraid of messing up that they don't even try. Or they try, but they're so tense and stressed that they can't perform at their best. But failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. Failure is how you learn. It's how you grow. Every mistake you make teaches you something valuable. So instead of putting pressure on yourself to be perfect, allow yourself to fail. Give yourself the freedom to experiment, to try new things, and to get it wrong sometimes. That's how progress happens. Another way to avoid unnecessary pressure is to break your goals into smaller steps. When you look at the big picture, it can feel overwhelming. You start thinking, how am I ever going to do all of this? But when you focus on just the next step, it feels manageable. And every small step you take builds momentum. Here's something to remember. Pressure isn't always external. A lot of it comes from within. We set these high expectations for ourselves, and when we don't meet them, we beat ourselves up. But let me tell you, being hard on yourself doesn't help. In fact, it makes things worse. You need to be your own biggest supporter, not your own worst critic. Talk to yourself the way you talk to a friend. Would you tell your friend, you're not good enough, or you're too slow? Of course not. So why say those things to yourself? Be kind to yourself. Encourage yourself. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. And finally, remember to enjoy the journey. Life isn't just about reaching the finish line. It's about the experiences, the lessons, and the growth along the way. When you're too focused on the pressure, you miss out on the joy. Take a deep breath. Let go of the unnecessary weight you're carrying. Focus on what you can do today, right now. Forget about proving anything to anyone. Forget about being perfect. Just take one step at a time. When you stop putting unnecessary pressure on yourself, you free yourself to do your best work. You free yourself to enjoy the process. And most importantly, you free yourself to live life on your own terms. Number 6. Stay in control of your story. Life is full of opinions. People will always have something to say about who you are, what you should do, and where you should go. Some of it will be well-meaning advice, and some of it will be pure criticism. Here's the thing. You don't have to let anyone else write your story. Too often, people give away control of their story because they're trying to please others. Maybe you've felt this too. You make decisions based on what will make someone else happy. Your family, your friends, your coworkers. You let their expectations dictate your choices. But here's the hard truth. When you live for others, you lose yourself. Staying in control of your story starts with knowing what you want, not what someone else wants for you. Ask yourself, what do I really want in life? What kind of person do I want to be? What kind of story do I want to leave behind? Those answers are yours to discover, and they don't have to align with anyone else's expectations. Let me tell you, it's not always easy to take control of your story. There will be moments when people question your choices. They might say, "Why are you doing that?" Or "That's not what I expected from you." But here's the thing. It's not their story to tell. It's yours. When you take control of your story, you're deciding that your dreams, your goals, and your happiness matter. You're saying, "I'm the author of my life, and I get to decide how this chapter ends." And let's talk about setbacks, because they're a part of every story. Life doesn't always go as planned. You might face failure, rejection, or unexpected challenges. But those moments don't define you. How you respond to them does. Think of every setback as a plot twist. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to come back stronger. Instead of saying, "This is the end of my story," you say, "This is just a new chapter." You adapt, you pivot, and you keep moving forward. But staying in control of your story isn't just about overcoming setbacks. It's also about the daily choices you make. Every decision, no matter how small, shapes your story. How you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, what you focus on. These things matter. If you want your story to be one of growth, success, and fulfillment, you have to make choices that align with that vision. That means saying no to things that don't serve you. It means setting boundaries and protecting your time and energy. Here's another important piece. Don't let the past hold your story hostage. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've been through tough times. Maybe you've been told, "This is just how things are for you." But let me tell you, the past doesn't have to dictate your future. You have the power to rewrite your story at any moment. You can choose to let go of what's holding you back and focus on what's ahead. Your past is a part of your story, but it's not the whole story. You get to decide how the next chapter unfolds. And don't let fear take control of your story either. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These are all things that can stop you in your tracks if you let them. But fear is just a feeling. It's not a fact. It doesn't have to dictate your actions. When you feel fear creeping in, remind yourself, "I'm in control. I'm writing this story, and fear doesn't get a say in what happens next." Then take one small step forward. Action is the antidote to fear. Now let's talk about the role of others in your story. The people you choose to surround yourself with have a huge influence on your life. If you're around people who constantly doubt you, criticize you, or pull you down, it's going to be hard to stay in control of your story. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in you, and who want to see you succeed. These are the people who will support your vision and encourage you to keep going, even when it's tough. And here's a key point. Don't compare your story to someone else's. It's easy to look at someone else's life and think, "Why am I not where they are?" But comparison is a trap. Their story is theirs, and yours is yours. You don't know what challenges they faced or what sacrifices they've made. Focus on your own journey and trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Staying in control of your story also means taking responsibility for your actions. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Blaming others or making excuses won't move your story forward. Taking ownership will. If something's not working in your life, ask yourself, what can I do to change this? What steps can I take to move in a better direction? Taking responsibility is empowering because it reminds you that you're in the driver's seat. And finally, remember that your story doesn't have to be perfect. Life is messy. There will be ups and downs, successes and failures, moments of joy and moments of struggle. But that's what makes it real. That's what makes it yours. The most important thing is that you stay true to yourself. Write a story that reflects who you are, what you value, and what you stand for. Don't let anyone else dictate the plot. So take a deep breath and remind yourself, I'm in control of my story. No matter where you've been or what you've faced, you have the power to create the life you want. One choice, one step, one chapter at a time. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what others say or think. It's about how you feel about the story you're living. Make it one you're proud of. Number 7. The power of surprising people with your success. We live in a world where people love to announce their plans. They'll say, I'm going to start this, or just watch. I'll make it happen. And sure, it feels good to talk about big dreams. But here's the reality. Talk doesn't get the job done. Action does. When you tell everyone what you're working on or what you're aiming for, you set an expectation. You create a kind of performance where people start watching, judging, and sometimes even doubting. That kind of attention can weigh you down. But when you choose to work quietly without making a big deal out of your plans, something magical happens. You free yourself from unnecessary pressure and distractions. There's real power in moving in silence. When you keep your plans to yourself, no one can interfere. No one can discourage you. No one can tell you, that's too hard, or are you sure you can do that? Instead, you protect your energy and focus entirely on your progress. Surprising people with your success isn't about being secretive. It's about staying laser-focused on what matters, the work. It's about pouring your time and energy into taking steps toward your goals rather than wasting it on explaining or convincing others. When you shift your energy from talking to doing, you gain momentum. Let's look at why surprises are so impactful. Imagine someone underestimated you. They didn't believe you could accomplish something big. Instead of arguing or trying to change their mind, you stayed quiet, worked hard, and let the results speak for themselves. That moment when they see what you've achieved, it's priceless. It's a reminder that actions are always louder than words. But here's the thing. Surprising people with your success isn't about getting back at them or making them feel small. It's about showing what's possible when you commit to your dreams. It's about inspiring others through your results, not your words. And you know what? The best surprises come when people didn't see it coming. Maybe they thought you weren't capable because you weren't loud about your ambitions. Or maybe they just didn't realize how much work you were putting in behind the scenes. Either way, when you finally reveal what you've accomplished, it's undeniable. There's a quiet confidence that comes from this approach. You don't need validation along the way. You don't need applause at every step. You're secure enough to keep your head down and stay focused. That kind of self-assurance is rare, and it's powerful. Another reason surprising people with your success is so effective is that it removes the pressure to meet external expectations. When you announce your goals publicly, you might feel like you're being watched and judged every step of the way. That pressure can make you second-guess yourself, or even hold you back. But when you work in silence, you're free to experiment, take risks, and grow without the fear of judgment. Let me tell you, working quietly doesn't mean you're not ambitious. It doesn't mean you're holding back. It means you're strategic. You're conserving your energy for what really matters, the effort it takes to succeed. And when the time comes to share your success, the impact is so much greater because it's backed by real results. It's not just talk, it's proof that you were capable all along, proof that your hard work paid off. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone achieve something incredible and it caught you completely off guard? Maybe you didn't even realize they were working toward it. That kind of success leaves an impression. It's memorable because it's unexpected. You can create that same kind of impact in your own life, whether it's in your career, your personal growth, or your relationships. Focus on the work, not the talk. Let the results be your announcement. Here's the key. While you're working quietly, don't let self-doubt creep in. Just because no one else sees your progress doesn't mean it's not happening. Trust the process. Trust that every little step is bringing you closer to your goal. And remember, it's not just about surprising others, it's also about surprising yourself. When you commit to consistent effort, you'll start achieving things you didn't even think were possible. You'll build confidence and momentum. And that's a reward in itself. Now, some people might misunderstand this approach. They might think, if I don't talk about my goals, won't people think I'm not doing anything? But here's the truth. It doesn't matter what they think. Your worth isn't measured by how much you talk about your plans. It's measured by what you actually accomplish. And let's be honest, there will always be people who doubt you, criticize you, or try to bring you down. That's just life. But when you focus on your work and let your success speak for itself, you rise above all of that. So how do you start surprising people with your success? First, get clear on your goals. Know what you're working toward and why it matters to you. Then, create a plan and stick to it. Focus on taking small, consistent steps every day. Second, resist the urge to share everything. It's tempting to seek encouragement or validation by telling others about your plans. But remember, the more you talk, the more opinions you invite. Keep your circle small and share your goals only with those who genuinely support you. Finally, be patient. Success takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, but when you stay committed and consistent, the results will come. And when they do, they'll speak louder than anything you could have said along the way. At the end of the day, surprising people with your success isn't about making a big show. It's about being intentional, focused, and confident in your ability to achieve. It's about proving not to them, but to yourself, that you're capable of great things. So work quietly, stay consistent, and let your results do the talking. Because the greatest success stories are the ones that don't just meet expectations, they exceed them in ways no one saw coming. Number 8, trust yourself. Not the crowd. Trusting yourself is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. It's about believing in your ability to think, to act, and to make the best choices for your life, no matter what anyone else says. Now, this isn't easy, especially in a world where everyone seems to have an opinion. The crowd is loud. Friends, family, coworkers, social media, everyone's got advice. They'll tell you what they think you should do, how you should live, and even who you should be. It's tempting to listen, to follow their lead, to go with the flow. But if you always follow the crowd, you'll never find your own path. Let's be real. The crowd isn't always right. Just because a lot of people are doing something doesn't mean it's the best thing for you. The crowd often values comfort, convenience, and conformity. But success that comes from stepping out of the crowd, not staying in it. Trusting yourself starts with understanding what you truly want, not what someone else wants for you, not what society says you should want, what you want. That takes time, reflection, and honesty. You've got to tune out the noise and listen to your own voice. Here's something to remember. Your instincts are powerful. Deep down, you know what feels right for you and what doesn't. But too often, we ignore those instincts because we're afraid of what others will think. We doubt ourselves, and we let the crowd's opinions drown out our own wisdom. You have to break that cycle. When you trust yourself, you give yourself permission to make decisions that align with your values and your goals, even if they're unpopular, even if people question you, even if it feels scary at first. Now, let me tell you something about the crowd. The crowd loves to criticize. If you decide to do something different, something bold, something unconventional, people will talk. They'll say, "Why are you doing that? That's not how it's done." But their criticism doesn't reflect your ability. It reflects their fear. Fear of change, fear of risk, fear of stepping outside their comfort zone. You don't have to let that fear become yours. The truth is, most people in the crowd are afraid to take risks themselves, so they discourage others from doing it. But if you let their fear stop you, you'll never discover what you're truly capable of. Trusting yourself means learning to handle doubt, both your own and the doubt of others. It's okay to have questions. It's okay to feel uncertain, but don't let that stop you from moving forward. Confidence doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It means you act anyway, because you know you'll figure it out as you go. Think about all the great achievements in history. The innovators, the leaders, the game changers, they didn't follow the crowd. They trusted themselves when no one else did. They believed in their vision, even when others couldn't see it. That kind of trust takes courage, but it's also what leads to greatness. You might be thinking, but what if I make a mistake? What if I trust myself and fail? Let me tell you something. Failure isn't the end. It's part of the process. Every mistake you make teaches you something valuable. It helps you grow, adjust, and get better. And here's the best part. When you trust yourself, you build resilience. You learn to bounce back from setbacks because you know they don't define you. What defines you is how you respond, how you adapt, and how you keep moving forward. Trusting yourself doesn't mean ignoring advice or shutting out everyone else. It means being selective about whose advice you take. Seek guidance from people who have experience, wisdom, and your best interests at heart. But even then, weigh their advice against your own judgment. At the end of the day, it's your life, and you're the one who has to live with your decisions. Now let's talk about courage. Trusting yourself takes courage because it often means going against the grain. It means saying, "I know what's best for me, and I'm willing to take that path, even if no one else understands." That kind of courage doesn't come overnight. It grows with practice. Start small. Make a decision today based on what feels right to you, not what others expect. It could be something as simple as choosing how to spend your evening, or as big as deciding on your career path. The more you practice trusting yourself, the stronger that trust will become. And don't forget to celebrate your wins along the way. Every time you trust yourself and it works out, take a moment to acknowledge it. Remind yourself, I did that. I made that call and it paid off. Those little victories build confidence, and that confidence fuels even bigger decisions. One more thing, trusting yourself is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when doubt creeps back in, when the crowd's opinions feel overwhelming, when you question your own choices. That's normal. What matters is that you keep coming back to yourself. When the noise gets too loud, take a step back, breathe, reflect, ask yourself, what do I want? What feels right to me? And then follow that answer, even if it goes against the grain. Because here's the truth. The crowd will come and go. Opinions will change. Trends will fade. But you'll always have yourself, your instincts, your values, your dreams. Those are constant, and they're worth trusting. So stop looking to the crowd for validation. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. You already have everything you need to succeed. Right inside you. Trust it. Believe in your ability to figure things out. Believe in your power to make decisions that lead to a life you're proud of. Trust yourself, and you'll discover that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. You don't need the crowd. You've got you, and that's enough. Number 9, turn dreams into reality. You might think, where do I even begin? That's the part that trips up a lot of people. They see the big picture of their dream and feel overwhelmed. But here's the key. You don't have to achieve your dream all at once. You just need to take one step at a time. Let's break it down. Start by getting clear about what you want. Be specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful, or I want to live a better life. What does that actually look like for you? Is it building your own business? Is it improving your health? Is it providing a better life for your family? Clarity is power. The clearer you are about your dream, the easier it will be to map out a path to get there. Once you're clear on your dream, the next step is to turn it into smaller, actionable goals. Think of it like building a house. You don't start with the roof. You start with the foundation, one brick at a time. What's one small step you can take today to get closer to your dream? Maybe it's learning a new skill, making a phone call, or setting aside time to plan your next move. Here's the thing. Small steps might not seem like much in the moment, but over time they add up. Consistency is what separates dreamers from doers. It's not about doing one big thing. It's about doing little things every single day that bring you closer to where you want to be. But let's be honest, taking action isn't always easy. There will be challenges. There will be days when you feel like giving up. That's why you need a strong why. Why do you want to achieve this dream? What does it mean to you? When your why is strong, it becomes your anchor. It keeps you going when things get tough. Now let's talk about fear, because fear is one of the biggest obstacles standing between you and your dream. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. It's natural to feel afraid, but here's the truth. Fear doesn't have to stop you. You can feel the fear and take action anyway. Think about this. What's scarier? Taking a risk and possibly failing, or staying exactly where you are and never knowing what you could have achieved? The choice is yours. Fear will always be there, but so will the opportunity to grow. Another important step in turning dreams into reality is surrounding yourself with the right people. Your environment matters. If you're constantly around negative people who doubt you or discourage you, it's going to be harder to stay motivated. Seek out people who lift you up, who inspire you, and who believe in your potential. And don't underestimate the power of learning. Whatever your dream is, there's someone out there who's done something similar. Study them, read their books, listen to their stories, and learn from their experiences. Success leaves clues, and if you're paying attention, you can use those clues to guide your own journey. But learning isn't enough. You've got to apply it. Knowledge without action is useless. Don't just gather information. Use it, try things, make mistakes, and learn as you go. Every failure is a lesson, and every lesson gets you closer to your dream. One thing that will keep you on track is celebrating your progress. Too often we get so focused on the end goal that we forget to acknowledge how far we've come. Celebrate the small wins. Did you complete a task you've been putting off? Celebrate it. Did you step out of your comfort zone? Celebrate it. Every step forward is a victory, and those victories build momentum. Let's also talk about patience. Turning dreams into reality doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and it takes time. Be patient with yourself. Stay committed, even when progress feels slow. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. And here's a reminder, don't compare your journey to someone else's. It's easy to look at others who seem to be ahead of you and feel discouraged, but their success doesn't take away from yours. Focus on your path, your progress, and your unique timeline. Now here's a challenge for you. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect time, because it doesn't exist. You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need everything to be lined up perfectly. Just take one step. Start small, but start. Remember, dreams don't work unless you do. But when you combine a clear vision, consistent action, and unwavering belief in yourself, you can make the impossible possible. You have what it takes to turn your dreams into reality. The question is, are you ready to take the first step? Because your dream is waiting for you. It's not going to come to you. You have to go to it. And when you do, you'll realize that the journey itself is what makes the dream worth it. So start today, and don't stop until your dream is your reality. Number 10, let results speak for themselves. Results speak louder than words, and they tell the world who you are and what you stand for, without you having to say a thing. Here's the thing about talking. It's easy. Anyone can say they're going to do something. Anyone can declare their big plans or make bold claims about their future. But talk is just noise, unless it's backed up by action. And here's what you need to know. When you let your results do the talking, they carry far more weight than any words ever could. Why? Because results are undeniable. They're proof. They show that you didn't just dream, you acted. You didn't just promise, you delivered. And in a world full of talkers, doers stand out. So let's get real. Why do people feel the need to talk so much about their plans? Sometimes it's because they want validation. They want others to say, wow, that's impressive. Other times it's because they're unsure of themselves, and talking gives them a false sense of progress. But the truth is, the more time you spend talking about what you're going to do, the less time you have to actually do it. If you're serious about achieving something, you don't need to broadcast it to the world. You don't need applause or approval before you've even started. What you need is focus. Quiet, determined focus. The kind that keeps your head down and your energy directed toward making things happen. When you focus on results instead of announcements, you free yourself from the pressure of living up to what you said. Because let's face it, when you tell everyone what you're going to do, they're going to watch, they're going to judge, they're going to expect. And that pressure can weigh you down. But when you keep your plans to yourself and focus on the work, something amazing happens. You stop worrying about what others think. You stop wasting energy trying to prove yourself before you've even achieved anything. And you channel all that energy into doing the actual work. And here's the beauty of it. When the results come, they speak for themselves. You don't have to explain. You don't have to justify. The proof is there, plain and simple. Think about the people you admire, the ones who inspire you. Chances are they're not the ones who talk the loudest. They're the ones who quietly worked hard, stayed focused, and let their success tell their story. That's the kind of person you want to be. Now, this doesn't mean you can't share your goals with anyone. It's okay to share them with people you trust. People who will encourage you, hold you accountable, and genuinely want to see you succeed. But be mindful of who you share with and why. Are you sharing because you need support? Or are you sharing because you want attention? Be honest with yourself. When you let results speak for themselves, you gain respect. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. And respect earned through action is far more lasting than respect demanded through words. Here's something else to think about. When you focus on results, you become a person of substance. Your actions define you, not your words. People start to notice not what you say you're going to do, but what you've actually accomplished. And that's powerful. But here's a warning, results don't come overnight. They take time. They take effort. They take consistency. And that's where most people struggle. They want instant gratification. They want to see results immediately. And when they don't, they give up. That's why it's so important to stay patient and persistent. Trust the process. Keep putting in the work, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching, because that's when character is built. Think about it like planting a tree. You don't plant a seed and expect a full-grown tree the next day. You water it, you nurture it, you give it sunlight, and over time it grows. The same goes for your efforts. The work you put in today might not show results tomorrow, but it will in time. And when those results finally appear, they'll be worth the wait, because they'll be real. They'll be yours, and no one will be able to take them away from you. So here's the takeaway. Stop wasting time trying to convince others of what you're going to do. Stop looking for approval or applause before you've even started. Instead, put your energy into the work. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay committed. When you focus on the work instead of the talk, you gain something even more valuable than results. You gain confidence, because every step forward, every small win builds your belief in yourself. And that belief is what will keep you going, even when the journey gets tough. And don't forget, success isn't about impressing others. It's about fulfilling your own potential. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for you. So let your actions do the talking. Let your results be your voice. Because when you achieve something real, something meaningful, you won't need to say a word. The world will see it. And that's when you'll know you've truly made it. Keep your focus, keep your discipline, and keep working. Your results are waiting, and they're going to tell a story that words never could. Don't talk about it. Be about it. As we wrap up, here's the main thing to remember. It's not about how much you talk. It's about what you do. Your actions will always speak louder than your words. When you put in the work and focus on getting results, that's when the real change happens. Stop wasting time explaining what you're going to do, and start doing it. The more you show up, the more your results will speak for themselves. Keep moving forward. Stay focused, and let your success do the talking. Thanks for watching. Now get out there, take action, and make your dream a reality.